You know, if Sarah Palin had really cared about overexposing or protecting her kids, she would have just kept her mouth shut. Here she is back in the national spotlight. It's a full-blown mama bear mode, defending her daughter from being the butt of a late-night joke on David Letterman. Now, Governor Palin has turned this miraculously and with a savvy tongue, I think, into a media circus. Folks, when you turn on Letterman, when you turn on late night TV, turn on Saturday Night Live, you know exactly what you're going to be getting. When you listen to a Dick Cheney speech, you know exactly what you're going to be getting. People in the political arena are targets, sometimes of nasty commentary, the brunts of jokes, opinion pages. They are targets in the joke world. It was a joke, Sarah, just a joke. It was 6 seconds long. But you see, the governor from Alaska never misses an opportunity to miss an opportunity. She's taken this one-liner, a joke, and turned it into a national media tour, which really is what the Republicans need. I mean, it's all over the internet. What people are saying is probably a heck of a lot worse than what Letterman would have ever said in 6 seconds. But the question is this how she protects and defends her daughter? Now, to her credit, Sarah Palin has turned this into a positive for her political career. I mean, she saw an opening and she took it, because now every mother in America can relate to Sarah Palin defending her daughter. It's a political home run when it comes to exposure, and the Republican Party, which has been in an identity crisis for months, finally has a pulse. They're connecting with someone out there. They're not anti-something. They're for daughters and moms and motherhood and apple pie. And there is no politician on the face of the earth that plays the victim card better than Sarah Palin. She loves to be the victim. She loves to be talked about. And she has endeared herself to every mother in America. She has played the sympathy card perfectly, I think. Now, here's the hard truth, and here's the tough commentary on this. True conservatives, I mean hardliners, true conservatives, might say if Sarah Palin had been a better mother, maybe her oldest daughter wouldn't have gotten pregnant out of wedlock. Now, let's not forget that at the GOP convention, Sarah Palin brought the whole family up on stage, including the baby. And of course, the baby was a focal point. Her daughter was the focal point of conversation as well. And it just goes with the territory. But identity politics is what it's all about. When moms in America see a fellow mom standing up with her child, it's going to be a very powerful thing. Palin's no fool. She knows it. Listen to her this morning on the Today Show with Matt Lauer.
The comment that was made about statutory rape of my 14-year-old daughter Willow, knowing that crossed the line, and then others chiming in on other comments that Letterman has made. Just, quite I think, a sad commentary on where we are as a culture, as a society, to chuckle and laugh through comments such as he had made the other night. It was a degrading comment about a young woman, and I would hope that people really start really rising up and deciding it's not acceptable. No wonder young girls especially have such low self-esteem in America when we think that it's funny for a so-called comedian to get away with being able to make such a remark as he did.
I'll tell you what we need to do. We need to cancel all late night television, okay? In fact, we need to have now a censor czar from the Obama administration. I think she said in there other things that Letterman has said that might parallel. Did you hear that? That he has said other things? What are they? Folks, she is an MVP. She is gaming the political field big time. It's all about exposure in the TV world. It's all about name recognition. Joining me now is Donny Deutsch, chairman of Deutsch Incorporated, a $2.5 billion ad agency. You can't make this stuff up.
You can't make this stuff up. You know, it's interesting. I'm not here to defend David Letterman. I'm here to talk about the hypocrisy of Governor Palin. The hypocrisy. Shame on her. You know, you said she's going to garner, all of this kind of sympathy from mothers of America. I want to talk to the mothers of America, and I have 3 daughters. Last month, and all of a sudden, obviously, they're coming out against, young women having babies. The cover of People magazine, okay? This is something that they orchestrate and sometimes pay for. Bristol Palin and her baby. Exclusive, at home with the teen mom. If girls realize the consequences of sex, nobody would be having sex, says Bristol. Trust me, nobody. This is a glamorous picture. This is an aspirational picture. Look at this picture. Is this something that's going to turn off young women from having sex? When you put your daughter out there in the media at 18 years old, shame on you. That's what sets up situations like this. Greta Van Susteren, in February, here's the way they introduced the show. Tonight, a special guest in his first TV appearance ever. Well, he's less than 2 months old. It's Tripp, also known as the first grandson. Tonight, Tripp goes on the record. He's 2 months old. The last thing I'm doing is taking my 18-year-old daughter and their 2 months on TV. What is that about? That is exploiting your own child, and you set them up for situations like this.
So this is so predictable. There's a pattern here. You know that she's going to game this. You know that she's going to respond to anybody that says anything about her, especially someone who has the visibility of Letterman.
Yeah, and once again, this is not to say, obviously, comedians go over the line. And I'm not talking about the joke. I'm talking about you are a hypocrite. Because I think a mother that is looking out for her child is not serving up an 18-year-old and a 2-month-old into the media, into these glamorous spreads. You are putting her in the sunshine, in the limelight.
Here's the other thing. The political opening here is she was just overexposed, underexposed. Newt Gingrich got all the big play the last big Republican dinner. She's trying to get back in it. She's trying to grab the conversation. This is going to go on for days. But the Republicans need to identify with somebody. This does
I don't think this
grab the heartstrings of some moms, you think?
You know, some, but once again, I want to talk to the moms. If you had an 18-year-old daughter out there and she had an out-of-wedlock 2-month baby, would you be parading her all over the media? Was that what you... And I don't know if mothers would do that. I don't think of a lot of responsible mothers would do that, frankly, between you and me. And I think the thing is here also, by doing it, as somebody who's kind of done damage control in the past for situations. This was a joke. Letterman, obviously he's got a couple of million viewers, but by going on in the media, you're bringing millions and millions and more in front of the joke. You're actually accelerating the problem. So if you were so concerned about it, the best thing to do is let it go, and it never would have been a news story.
But she embellished, I think,
she's exploiting
way over the board.
Because she's got nothing to say about the issues.
Saying more.
And that's why the Republican Party is where they are. That's why 40% of the Republican Party doesn't like their own party. Because they need more meat on the bone at this point. This is exploitive. This is fear-mongering in America once again. And show me the money. Tell me what you're going to do for this country. We've come past this nonsense at this point. And once again, I'm not defending David Letterman. Bad taste, the joke. It is a bad taste joke. And comedians make jokes in bad taste. But as somebody who was running for vice president, maybe wants to run for president, hopefully you got more in your arsenal than this.
Well, okay. The downside for Letterman, there isn't one. I mean, the way he's handled it,
he'll be fine. It's certainly, I'm sure if he could get a do-over, if he can get a mulligan on this, he would. Because, once again, it is what it is. It's certainly a very sensitive topic, and the fact that he flashed up the image of the younger daughter was really set it up. So he crossed over the line here. He'll be fine. He kind of did an apology.
Don't you know what you get with a late night guy? Don't you know what you get
and here's the other interesting thing also. They're saying that the liberal media that never report stuff like this. And meanwhile, and I'm not going to repeat any of this stuff that John McCain, that Rush Limbaugh said about Chelsea Clinton. Vile stuff.
Compared her to the White House dog.
Vile. I'm not even dignifying it and talking. John McCain, her running mate, said things. So, just guys, Republican Party, you need a new tune.
Hurt her or help her for 12, you think?
Irrelevant.
Irrelevant at this point?
Completely irrelevant. Okay. I think the American voters, and they showed it in the last election, have too much personally at stake. It is not this kind of false value play that's up there. They want to know, what are you going to do for me in my foreclosure at home? What are you going to do for me and my out-of-work husband? This is not the way America votes anymore. There's too much on the line.
But, Donnie, you can't get a lot of exposure in Alaska. You got to take it when you can get it. There's not a lot of network cameras up in Alaska.
She's good TV. She is good TV. She's fun to watch. I don't think in our lifetime we will ever see her President of the United States. Americans are too smart. It's that simple.
Donny Deutsch, always a pleasure.
Pleasure, buddy.
Great to have you on. Great take. For more